Hey all, welcome back to a brand new week of Brave Kids Art Club. My name is Brad and I am so excited to draw this week because we have an awesome lineup of drawings. You're gonna have a blast and today is no exception. Today we're gonna be drawing one of the coolest types of plants, the cactus. Actually, we're gonna draw 3 cactuses, actually cacti. The plural form is cacti. So we're gonna draw some cacti today. Are you guys excited? Awesome, okay, well, let's make sure we have all the tools you need and let's get started. All right, make sure you have a piece of paper out. You're gonna need a pencil for some sketching, and then we're gonna need a dark marker or a pen to do our outlining, of course. And then make sure you have an eraser of some type as well, because we're gonna erase that under sketch. And there's a good chance we're gonna make a mistake during our sketching phase, and that's perfectly fine and normal, and that's why we're using pencil. And at the very end, we're gonna do some coloring. And this is gonna be a lot of fun because I'm going to include the pots that the cacti are in so that we get lots of extra colors in there. So that'll be a whole lot of fun. All right, so let's make this happen. We are gonna be drawing 3 different cacti, like I was saying. And I wanna make sure they're all different shapes and sizes because there's 15,000 different types of cacti. And I love so many of them, so I wanna at least get 3 of my favorites in there. So let's go ahead and start with drawing the pots first, where we want them, and then we'll draw the cacti inside them, okay? So we'll just line up our pots in a row here. We'll have all 3 in a row. And let's start with maybe a really plain flower pot, like a terracotta one. Those are those orangey-ish color ones. You'll see when I draw it. Actually, before we start, maybe you should grab a ruler or something straight, like a book or a big book or something like that. And let's draw a really faint, a really light little line right here, just so we know where the bottom is. And we're gonna erase that at the very end. But that way we know, so all the bottoms of our pots will match up. All right, so let's start with our basic flower pot. We're gonna do a little angle right there. And let's see, a little angle right there, like that. And then we're gonna do a straight line across. We'll do basically like a little rectangle up here. I'm sure you've seen a pot just like this before. I'm pretty sure we have a few of them outside right now at my house. Okay, now let's draw another one right here in the middle. This one will be, let's make this one more rounded. Now you can do whatever kind of pots you want, but if you want to follow along, I'm going to try to mix up the pots so they're different shapes, and we can also do some really fun colors or patterns on them. So let's kind of go like this. Let's make it kind of round it off, curve it back here. And we'll do the same thing on this side. We'll just kind of round it off. There we go. If it takes a few strokes on it, that's totally fine. I don't get it perfect every time right away. Most of the time I don't. There we go. That one looks pretty good. And let's do our last one, maybe like a taller, skinnier one. Just slightly taller. Like this. Maybe like this, a little bit taller. Let's see how that looks. So just basically a rectangle. Perfect. Okay, I really like these. I think they're centered. Yep, they're centered. If you want, you can erase the bottom now. Just that bottom line. You can see how it just made the bottoms of our pots for us, and they're all lined up. So I rarely use a ruler, but they do come in handy, for sure. Okay, so we got our pots. You got your pots? Good, okay. Okay, we got the pots, and we'll add maybe some designs here in a second, but let's make sure we can get our cacti in each one of these things. So our first cactus here on the left, let's make a little round cactus. Now there's lots of different types. The one I'm probably gonna draw is one really close to a parodia. It's called a parodia. You can look that up and kind of see what it actually looks like. But I like those ones because it's got a really big flower on the top. So basically you can draw, so you can have the circle go through, you can have it go over top of your pot. That's okay, because you can just go now and erase that. Sometimes it's easier just to draw the full circle instead of stopping it. It doesn't look as natural. And let's add a little flower on the top, huh? We'll do a little, there we go. That'll look really nice. All right, so let's draw those lines on here, and they're gonna kind of represent all the different little dents that they have in this type of cactus. So we're gonna kind of go like this, and we're gonna do one over here. Kind of looks like a beach ball. And we'll do one line right down the middle. That look good? Okay, now we need to add some of those little prickly needles on there, and that'll be real easy. We'll just do those with lines. All we gotta do is just kind of do little V's. Little V's on the outside. How easy is that? So we'll do some on the other side as well. And then I just got to do a few more on the inside as well. I love cacti as well because I lived in Austin, Texas. And I know I've told you this lots of times, but I used to live in Austin, Texas, and we had lots of cacti all over the place. And my favorite one is the one we're going to be drawing next, which is the Prickly Pear. It's a cool name too. And I just really, really like them. We actually have a bunch of them in our house because my wife absolutely loves them. And so we have a bunch of them that we take care of in our house as well. And the cool thing is they don't take a lot of water, so they're really easy to upkeep and keep alive because I'm not good at keeping plants alive. Okay, so now we got our little parodia right there. Let's draw another cactus, but let's draw the Prickly Pear, the one I was just mentioning. Let's see. Let's start with this little shape right here. Now it's not a circle, it's more like an oval. Basically, if you draw an oval through here, let's try that. Now this type's kind of different because they're actually pretty thin. We're just seeing the flat part of it, but they're actually pretty darn thin. This is perfectly round. This one is really thin, and each of these they call pads. Different little pads on there. So we're gonna draw another one right up here. Oh, kind of like, we could draw maybe one that's slightly bigger over here. We don't want them to be all the exact same size. Maybe like this. Oh, I kind of got the Mickey Mouse ears. Oh, and then we'll erase all this. I just kind of like to erase as we go so that we don't get confused as what we're doing. But if that helps to draw more of like an oval shape, even all of these, if those are all oval shapes, that might help you draw that. But I think that's looking pretty good. Maybe we need to draw maybe one more little offshoot right over here. There we go. And then these little guys are like little buds because they have flowers that grow on them and they're really cool, like a pinkish purple color. So I'm excited to color those in. So we'll keep those there. Maybe we'll draw some lines on those. I don't know. And these, again, if you want to add more, you can totally add more, and you can do these in whatever shape or order that you'd like to do it in. There's not really an exact thing. I'm just kind of making it up as I go. But they do have a flower that grows on them. And so I want to do one right about here. Now I'm just doing the circle so I can kind of see how big I want it. And then I'm going to erase the middle part right here. And we'll draw a really simple flower, something really fun. Okay, so let's draw a little oval maybe right here with a little dot in the middle. Say a little dot in the middle. And then we're just gonna go around and add the petals like this. But look, we can stay within that circle. Just go all the way to the line of the circle and you'll have a nice, clean flower. How easy was that? See, I like to add my little guides there first, then you can erase all the little stuff over there. But we can also just remember and do that just to avoid doing the circle when we have our final pen mark at the end. And then this is going to be covered in little dots. And on those little dots, in reality, they're actually little spines, little needles that are on there, little prickly guys. And we'll have those all over here, but we don't need to show those. Just this is kind of what makes it very apparent what type of cactus it is. And this last cactus over here is probably the one that you're most familiar with, at least the shape. It is the Saguaro, and it looks like this. We'll go do a straight line up. We'll do a straight line up here. Let's see, maybe go right about to here. Maybe over a little bit more. And then we're gonna curve it at the top, and we're gonna come right back down. Almost like you're drawing a big piece of bread. A big baguette, a French baguette. It's that long bread you've probably seen at the store or you've eaten yourself, which I love having a baguette, which is kind of sidetracked. Okay, let's get back to this. I keep making myself hungry when I'm with my drawings, and we're not even drawing bread. All right, so now we're gonna draw those happy little arms for our cactus. So we're gonna go out and kind of bring it back in like that. Pretty cool. Now this is starting to look like it, right? Now I'm gonna do one more on the other side, and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that's right. That's what a cactus looks like. Now in reality, we said it, there's lots and lots of different kinds. There's thousands of different types of cacti, so This is just one of them, but I feel like this is probably the most popular, at least as an icon we see. So then we'll just do maybe some really easy lines right down here. And again, this one has pricklies all over it too, just like all the other ones, but we're just not going to, you can add them if you want, and I'll show you what I might do if I was going to add them. But I think we know just from this shape that it does have those little pricklies on it. I don't know if I need to add it, but if you did want to add it, this is what I would do. I would just draw little lines like this all over it on the outside. And you can do that if you want, because if you do it in the middle with all the other lines, it might get a little messy and cluttered. So that's why sometimes I kind of leave those things out. This is looking pretty fun, isn't it? Now we get 3 different things to color in. You're gonna do some really cool, now we have these pots. We could maybe add like a little design on them. Would that be kind of a cool idea? Some more things to color? Let's try this one. Maybe we'll do this one as dots, like little polka dot ones. And we'll have it kind of go like this. We'll just kind of go down. You could do whatever you want on these. I just like the idea of maybe doing the polka dots. There you go, so maybe that one has dots, maybe this one has like little zigzag patterns on it. That might be kind of cool with maybe some other little, maybe it has some lines across it. And then this one maybe I'll leave just like that. We'll add some cool maybe shading or something on it. But I'm pretty happy with this. I'm really happy with this, so I think what we should do is jump straight into the marker here for our outline. Now, if you need to pause, go ahead and pause it, and we'll jump right back into here. But I do have some fun cactus facts, so I'll go over those while we're doing some outlining. Does that sound good? Awesome, okay. Well, let's start with our really basic flower pot over here. So cacti, if you're interested, originate from the Americas. So that's North America, South America. They originate in the Americas. And so that's why you'll see a lot of them. And they typically only grow in very dry, hot climates. That's why Texas, that's why Texas had a bunch of them. Because it was very, well, I don't know if it was dry. There are dry areas there. I lived in kind of a humid area, but it is definitely very, very hot. And cacti don't need a lot of water. They don't need a lot of water, which makes them perfect to live out in places like a desert or really, like I said, dry or hot areas. So I thought that was pretty cool, but it makes you wonder, how can they live out there when all the other plants don't seem to live out there because they need water? They need a lot of water, and these areas just don't get that much water. Well, cacti have lots of different ways to combat that. One thing they have is very short roots. Now, a lot of plants have really long, deep root systems. The roots are the little parts, the little hairy parts that go under the ground into the dirt, and they go and suck up all the nutrients. That's how they eat, how the plant eats, and it gets its water. But for the cactus, it has very short roots, and very wide roots. And that helps them capture a lot of water, and it helps them hydrate really quickly. Hydrate means gets water in them really quickly. And they need that if they're going to survive in the areas that they live in. So that is really, really important. That's one of the ways that they get their water in those really dry areas, which I thought was really cool. It's interesting to see how plants and animals can adapt to wherever they're living. That means kind of change to make sure that they can live in that area. That's pretty cool. Another thing that helps them is actually their little prickly needles. Those little needles that are really frustrating when you go near them. If you actually touch them, they hurt really bad, or they give you like tiny little splinters and things because they stick to you. They actually help them with multiple things. One of the things it helps them with, and probably the most obvious one, is it keeps them very safe from predators, things that want to eat them. Things don't really want to eat them, but they're that prickly. It's kind of like a porcupine. No one wants to touch a porcupine because they're going to get poked. And the same thing with these cacti. They have a way, it's kind of a self-defense system. It keeps animals away from them, but humans actually eat cacti. Did you know that? You can eat a lot of them. I haven't had a ton, but I have had cactus juice. You can eat the cactus flower. There's lots of different things, the ways that you can prepare it and eat it. And that's pretty cool. I bet people also got water from them, sources of water. Probably not very much, but you can get water from them in the desert if you need, because they can store all that water. Now that's another reason why they have those needles. Those needles help provide more shade because they're covering most of the plant's body, and it makes it so that they can stay shaded and cool, and their water doesn't evaporate off of their surface. So evaporate means it's just going to disappear and turn into a steam up in the air. So that water goes away unless they can capture it and retain it. So it needs to stay cool. So those little needles help do that, which is really, really cool. I had no clue the needles would help them retain water. And there's a few other ways that they help them stay hydrated and keep the water on them. And I think that's really cool. I don't know all the different ways, but there's some really cool ones. So look that up. Why do cacti have needles? And you'll find some really interesting stuff about how they can make sure that the water stays inside them. All right, let's draw these little polka dots on here. We got little designs. What designs are you wanting to do on yours? Are you guys doing polka dots, or are you guys doing other things? Because this is a perfect time and opportunity to make it yours. You do whatever you want. You're the artist. You get to have the creative liberty to do what you want. And like I said, you can add more little pricklies on there. You can give them little faces if you want. And you don't even have to stick to the colors that I'm going to be doing here. So just have fun with it. I wanted to do 3 of them. Like I said, I love cacti, and I think there's so many cool looking ones that I wanted to make it so that you had a lot of things to color in. Because that's really what this is about. We're just having fun, aren't we? And it gives us a lot of practice, which is cool. Now you're going to be really good and knowledgeable about cacti. First thing you learn, the plural form of cactus is cacti. It feels very weird to say. All right. Dang, that looks really good. I'm so excited. Hopefully you are pumped about yours. And all we need to do now is erase all of the sketch underneath, and then we're going to start coloring. So I'm going to do that on my own, and you'll see me fast forward through that. But you go ahead and do that with yours, and we'll catch up right after we're done coloring. And I am done. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun to color in. There were so many different markers. I think I used half of my markers over here. I had so many different colors. Normally I don't do that. I don't use that many colors, but it was just so fun to be able to play around with all the different, the pots and the different types of cacti. So that was a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys had a blast as well. This is definitely one of those drawings that you might want to hang up on your wall. It'd be a good decoration as well. So I'm proud of what I made. Hopefully you are too, because it's yours. Be proud of it because it's actually yours and you made it. And you're the only person that could have made it look just the way that you made it look. So that's pretty neat. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my initials down here, and this is finished. Well, I always appreciate you guys drawing with me. Thank you so much. Make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel. We do this Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and occasionally we slip in a few other ones throughout the week. But follow along, and remember, be brave, be creative, but most importantly, be you. All right, we'll see you guys next time.